Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a new edition of our show titled Speak of Africa. Brothers and sisters, we're very, very happy to bring you the show of today. Like always, we're happy to see you and we enjoy spending the time with you. And we'll just imagine wherever you are that you're reaching us and we're feeling you. So the show of today is also going to be a great one. We have a whole lot of coverage. But before we start, we have to do some house chores. First, we want to salute you. Right now, we've noticed that a lot of you are commenting on what the show is about, and we thank you for the comments you're making. The comments are a way that you are communicating with us. We know what you think, you know what we think. Each time when we watch a comment, we make sure that we respond to that comment. We don't ignore it because we take your comments very, very seriously. And we always look forward to those comments. In fact, more than the show itself, the comments are very, very important to us. Every time when you write anything, we read it, we think about it, and we look for ways to respond. Sometimes we respond immediately. Sometimes we just say we love you, because without you, there will really be no show. We thank you very, very, very much. This show started just like an experiment. We wanted to look for a way to give a voice to Africans all over the world. Africans in the motherland, Africans in the diaspora. We wanted you to have a voice. We wanted to have an alternative kind of medium where when you say something, the whole world will be able to hear what you have to say. Your point of view is important. That's what we've been trying to do. So as we said, the show was intended as a metaphor intended to create a framework for metaphysical rebellion. We have to rebel against our condition because we're not happy with our condition as black people. In fact, when you look at the show of today, we have to really criticize our condition on this earth, okay? People are treating us like the wretched of the earth, but we don't accept that position as the wretched of the earth. We think we're important. Our lives matter. Even though we are black people, we think our lives matter just like the lives of other people too. So we salute all those of you who have been commenting, especially our subscribers. We cannot thank you enough. Without you, there will be no show. Over 50,000 people watch us every week, pretty much. But we've noticed that so far, only a few of you have helped us to reach that milestone of 10,000 subscribers. So we thank you very, very much for helping us get to 10,000 subscribers. Now we're going to build a new target, a new milestone, which is 100,000 subscribers by December 31st, 2020. We noticed that over 50,000 people watch us, you view the show, but why are you not subscribing? We're urging you now to subscribe because we need to convert those numbers. Just imagine if 50,000 of you who are watching the show had subscribed, would have had 50,000 subscribers. So we're urging you, please, please, click that button, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. When you subscribe, we'll get bigger numbers. It means our message will travel far and wide, which is really the goal of this show. We want to take this message and take it far and wide. Show and you share and you subscribe, then you're fulfilling the objectives we set for ourselves. Because we're creating a revolution. We cannot create a revolution with passive actors. We need people who are more than just spectators. You have to act. This show is your show. When you get content, send it to us. We're going to publish it. We're going to research it. That's what we do every day when we get stuff from you. So we're going to thank once again those subscribers who have helped us attain that goal post of 10,000 subscribers. That's a great achievement, and we give the credit to you. Without you, we'll not be able to get to that level. When we started the show, we were very, very humble. We didn't have anything. We started from scratch. But you help us now to get to this big number. We know as you continue to help us, we're going to get to that 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. Okay? So we say thank you again very, very much. We cannot thank you enough. So I'm really passionate about it. This is probably the last show of the year 2019. And we're very, very happy because without you, we would not have been able to get this far. When we started, we didn't even have a single subscriber. We didn't have a single viewer. But you've encouraged us by responding to the content of this show, you make us feel like we can do more, we can continue. So we're here to serve you. We're all volunteers. We work on the show because we believe in Mother Africa. We want to change the destiny of Africa. Any kind of revolution always begins with information, with education, with the formation of a community. So this show is just like a family. It's just like a community that we're forming so that we can join hands and do great things together, which is really our goal. When you look at the past, people tend to look at Africa as the cradle of civilization. But today, most of the Europeans make fun of us as people who are not important. In fact, the show of today, we're going to focus on a paradox. Rich Africa, poor Africans. That's a paradox. A paradox is a metaphor. When you look at this, how can a continent be rich, but the people who come from that continent are poor? So that's a paradox. Something that when you look closer, it makes sense. But when you look at it from afar, it doesn't make any sense. So we're going to explore this paradox today. The show of today, which is the last show of the year, we're going to focus on the paradox of African poverty. Africa is a continent of wealth, immense wealth. We have so many images we're going to show you. All the countries in Africa, most of them have a lot of wealth. But the Africans who live in this rich continent are deprived of this wealth because the Europeans have formed gangs with most of our dictators to steal the wealth from us. And which is why people say Africans are poor. Africans are not poor. Africans are poor because the Europeans are stealing their wealth. And this condition needs to change. We are just like slaves in our own homeland. How can we continue to be slaves in our own homeland? We own all these resources, but dictators take these resources and enjoy them with foreigners. Most of these dictators are just like gangsters. So most of the African countries today are just like gangs, okay? They are run like criminal organizations, criminal syndicates, crime syndicates, okay? So the people, the ordinary people are not really enjoying. And when you look at the whole year of 2019, we've been telling the story of African immigrants. We've been telling the story of African youths. You see how so many of them are dying at sea. Why? Because they are unhappy with the condition they find themselves in the motherland. And this condition is not changing. As a result, most of the young people are traveling. We've told this story in so many different ways over and over. It's become just like the refrain of a sad song. We keep singing the same song because we want the message to hit home. Change needs to come to Africa. Change needs to come to Africa. And change begins with the man in the mirror, who is you. You are the person who can really change Africa. Don't think you are really small. You are the change agent, which is why we keep emphasizing that change can only come to Africa if the youth of Africa think about it and decide that mental slavery is enough. We need to take our laws into our own hands and change our condition. And we think most of you have been listening to this message, and we're really heartened. We're really glad that a lot of you, when you watch this show, you are happy with our message of African liberation, African decolonization. You love the message, and we feel it. Because you love this message, it makes us passionate to research more and share with you.
So I can get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you're searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy Shake. When I say his services are the best in the states, word is born. He even take care of your tax forms, fat refunds. So come, get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing, no waiting. This man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
For the show of today, we're going to try to look at this whole paradox, the African poverty paradox, okay? The people steal our stuff. They keep us poor, even though we're a rich continent. You can look at so many pictures we can show you. You look at most of the countries in Africa, they have a lot of wealth. Unfortunately, this wealth is not shared among fellow Africans, which is why there is trouble in a lot of African countries today. We'll start this show today by looking at Rwanda. Today, I saw the Minister of Sport of Rwanda riding a bicycle. She was riding a bicycle to work. A young lady, pretty nice lady, and she was riding her bicycle to work. Rwanda is now the pride of Africa. This is a country that has gone through the genocide, and we've told the story of Rwanda so many times on this show. Because this is the end of the year, we want to re-emphasize the story of Rwanda. Rwanda is emerging now to become a major business hub in Africa. How can you become a business hub in Africa? You become a business hub by having the technology, okay? Most of you ask us, how can Africa become like China? Africa can become like China, Africa can become like Israel, Africa can become like Taiwan, Africa can become like Japan. What these people did in essence, they diagnosed their problem. What is their problem? The problem of Africa is freedom. Africa is rich, but Africans are poor because they are not free. If they have the freedom to enjoy and take advantage of their resources, Africans will not be poor. So when Europeans say, this is a dark continent, the people are poor, we are poor because they are stealing our resources. They have better technology than us. In fact, if you read a book such as The Africans, A Triple Heritage, by one of my late professors, Professor Ali Mazrui, you'll see that he diagnoses the African condition. Professor Ali Mazrui belongs to what I call the externalist school of Africa, which means he looks at Africa's problems as coming from outside principally. He looks at indigenous factors, he looks at Christian factors, and he also looks at Arab factors. Those three factors make up what exists today in present Africa. By contrast, we have another professor who has also written extensively on African problems, Professor George Ayite of Ghana. He's been a professor at American University. I've interviewed him before, and you can even see some pictures I took in his office, and I walked with him around the campus of American University to really understand his position on Africa. So his school, by contrast, is what I call the internalist school. He looks at Africa's problems as resulting from Africans themselves, bad leadership. That's how Professor George Ayite looks at it. And he also comes up with answers to Africa's problems. According to Dr. George Ayite, in one of his books, Indigenous African Institutions, okay, and Africa Unchained, those two books really explain the blueprint, what Africa needs to use to free itself, to emerge, just like some of these big countries like China, Japan, Israel. You can only do that if you take what is in your culture, build on it, make it to become a national culture, then build everything on it. Don't try to modernize by using the white man's culture. Then things will not fit very well. If you look at Israel, for example, whenever they borrow anything from the United States, they try to customize it so that it fits within their cultural framework. But Africans will see a building in Paris, they want to build it in Cameroon, without really understanding that the two cultures are different. Okay? So they don't take the culture into account. So when you want to build a great country, you need to make sure that you study the culture. So Professor Ayite tells us to look at the culture and look at the indigenous aspect of this culture. Take what is good in this culture, build on it. Then if you're borrowing from an external culture, domesticate it. Make it fit your local culture. Don't just take something, you transfer a technology from America to Africa without taking into cognizance the peculiarities of the African environment, which is a mistake most of these coconut head leaders have been making. And that's why we're really having a lot of problems. But what is even worse, these people connive with the foreigners to steal our resources. So even though Africa, for a very long time, even during the days of William Shakespeare, because I used to be a Shakespearean scholar when I was in scholarship, okay? I used to love Shakespeare. In one of his plays, King Henry IV, Part 2, most of the characters were talking about Africa as an El Dorado, as a paradise, a land where you had all these resources, gold, oil, So the Europeans started scrambling to come to Africa to steal our stuff, okay? They steal our stuff, then they turn around and call us poor people. Isn't that sad? So we need to do something about it. And when you look at the countries we're going to name today in our news, we're going to start with Ivory Coast. Look at Ivory Coast. Last week, we spoke about Guillaume Soro. France had used this individual to start a war in that country. Over 3,000 people perished in this war. It was an ethnic kind of war, the North versus the South. The North has mostly Muslim, then the South has Christians. The French set them up. Guillaume Soro started the war thinking that Alassane Ouattara will become president, then he will give him space to be the new president. But since Alassane Ouattara has come into power, he doesn't want to leave. And he has made things difficult. As we come to the studio today, we've been told that Alassane Ouattara has not allowed Guillaume Soro to land in Ivory Coast. In fact, his flight was diverted to Ghana. And eventually, Guillaume Soro was forced to return to Europe from Ghana. He could not land in his country, Ivory Coast, because a warrant of arrest has been issued so that he can be picked up. So he has run away. So we're thinking that the 2020 October election in Ivory Coast is going to be tough because this guy has a lot of warlords who were under him. Most of those commanders now are in the Ivorian army. Their loyalty is to Guillaume Soro. So the way we're looking at it, there's going to be more trouble for this country. Ivory Coast is going to have some trouble. So we're just telling you in advance because we understand the way the country works. Ivory Coast is going to go through some tough moments. So those elections are not just going to be smooth. And because Guillaume Soro can really cause a whole lot of damage in that country. A lot of the generals who were under him during the civil war are now in the national army. So who do you think they're going to support? They're going to give their loyalty to Guillaume Soro. So we think as much as Alassane Ouattara is moving around, but the power behind his throne is Guillaume Soro. So he should really be careful by playing games with this guy. I think he's just not thinking straight. So Ivory Coast is a country which has a lot of cocoa. Cocoa, the Europeans use cocoa to produce so much stuff, chocolate and many other products. Ivory Coast produces more cocoa than any other country in the world. Interestingly, the average Ivorian has not really been benefiting from this wealth. The French and the leaders of Ivory Coast have been stealing this wealth, while the rest of the people are poor. Anytime they try to complain, the French kill any leader who steps up and wants to complain about French domination. A few weeks ago, Nathalie Yam, the spokesperson for the leader party of Mamadou Koulibaly, was kicked out of Ivory Coast because she went to Sochi, Russia, and dared to criticize the French. As you know, anytime when you criticize the French, you are in trouble. So just know that anytime you criticize the French, you are in trouble. This is a colonial master who wants to keep Africans in slavery forever. So Africans have to decide if they want to stay in slavery forever or they want to be free. So this is what is happening. So we'll leave Ivory Coast now and move to Nigeria.
Life insurance money secrets of millionaires and billionaires exposed. Discover how America's rich and famous exploit these arcane tools to build fabulous wealth. Why should these big white guys have all the fun? Let Prince Ojong, the celebrity author of The Miraculous Millionaire, show you the little understood life insurance way to riches. Are you still doubting the good things that life insurance can do for you? Trust strategies, estate planning, 401k rollover, annuity contract, cash value, education funding, executive benefits, income protection, life protection, living benefits, mortgage protection, tax-free retirement? Think and grow rich with life insurance. Your amazing journey to wealth begins by calling Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131.
We've been covering Nigeria a lot on our show. In fact, we just uploaded a video a few days ago showing you that the president of Nigeria has closed all the borders. Benin, Cameroon, Chad, Niger, all those borders are closed. But a few days ago, some people were saying that they saw trucks from Buhari's village coming with products. Whereas other borders cannot really have stuff come in, he still smuggles stuff in for his people.
When a senior statesman from northern Nigeria, names withheld, revealed in a speech that he saw trucks conveying goods 15 kilometers just at the backyard of President Buhari's village and entering Nigeria from Niger at midnight, Nigerians and neighboring countries saw the other side of Buhari and wondered aloud what this embargo is all about.
But the rest of the Nigerians cannot really have access to this product. So this closure of the border is causing a whole lot of pain to Nigerians, a lot of pain to Nigerians. So we got one of our correspondents, our international correspondents in Benin, to do this video and send to us, and we've uploaded the video on our website. So if you go, you can see the video on the border closures, okay, in Nigeria. Then at the same time, Buhari's village folks are enjoying products coming in, but other Nigerians are in poverty and hunger. They don't have anything. But the only good news coming from Nigeria today is we're telling you that Omoyele Sowore has been released again.
We'll let you guys into a time to talk to the media, okay? Don't worry. Just the only thing is to thank Nigerians. They made it happen, and they should not relent. Nobody can take the people who are deserving for granted. Merry Christmas to Nigeria. Revolution now.
We hope this time the release will be permanent, because this young man has suffered a whole lot, and we really pray to God to let him rejoin his family and have some rest and peace. As we saw him, he did not really look in good shape, but we're really praying that they should really allow him to live and enjoy himself a little bit. So, but when you look at Nigeria also, it's a country that has a whole lot of oil wealth. The Nigerian economy is very, very big. Unfortunately, this wealth doesn't really trickle down to the average Nigerian. The average Nigerian is poor. Then sometimes Buhari even insults them of being lazy. He calls the youth of Nigeria as being lazy, which is not really a good thing for a president to say. You cannot call your people lazy. You need to give them work to do, and they will do the work. Most people who know Nigerians all over the world, they know that Nigerians are hard workers. Nobody will ever say Nigerians are lazy people. So we don't really understand why Buhari can really be calling his people lazy. Because anyone who knows Nigerians all over the world, Nigerians are a very hardworking people. So we'll take Mr. Buhari to task for making fun of his people in this manner, which is not really good. What he needs to do is to make sure that the oil wealth is shared, that most of his people are not corrupt, because they should not really be stealing all this stuff so that the average person doesn't have anything. Next, from Nigeria, we're going to take you now to Cameroon, La République du Cameroon. We've covered a whole lot of La République du Cameroon in most of our shows. For the show of today, when you look at most of the newspapers in Cameroon, what is trending is special status. The Anglophones have been fighting for their own state after the government started killing them. So, as a way to contain the Anglophones, the Paul Biya government organized a sham dialogue and decided that to appease Anglophones, he's going to give them special status. But the Anglophones are very, very clever. They look at Mr. Biya as just being a usurper. Who is he to give them special status? Cameroon is a situation in which you have decolonization that went wrong. You have two states that were supposed to be united, but they don't have any treaty of union. Under international law, this union is dead because it doesn't have any ratification, no documents that show proof that these countries were supposed to be united. The East Cameroon and West Cameroon, they were supposed to be together, united. No document exists. Amadou Ahidjo just did it with the help of the French by using the army. So there's no legality in this union. So how can a party to this union arrogate such right, because they think they have the military might from France, they can just subdue the Anglophones and the Anglophones will keep quiet. But this time, the Anglophones have decided that they have had enough. They don't really need any foreign status. They will fight to the end.
Story is coming up, but first, let's go to Cameroon, where wounded French-speaking troops and their family members are asking the government of Paul Biya to negotiate a peaceful end to the separatist war in its English-speaking regions.
The soldiers who've been flown to hospitals in Yaoundé and Douala say that many others are dying because fighters have acquired modern war weapons and have a mastery of the environment.
And already, some Americans at the Pentagon were informing us that the way they see the Anglophone problem, if Mr. Biya doesn't solve this problem quickly, what is going to happen is the inevitable. The Anglophones will have their state. Because when they keep pushing, and the way the guys are pushing, they are making their own arms, eventually they will be forced to have their own state, just like East Timor and Eritrea, because they will keep fighting. It looks like they don't want to listen to the nonsense Mr. Biya is saying. Mr. Biya is thinking that he can still put them in the bottle, but the genie is out of the bottle already, and there's no way you can put it back in, okay? Already, even the elections that have been scheduled for next month, for February, I don't think those elections will hold because a lot of the Amber Boys, the people I call restoration fighters, they don't really want to listen to the nonsense Mr. Biya is telling them. So they are willing to fight and fight for their freedom. And most of the Anglophiles who are taking money from Mr. Biya to contest this election are scared because the Amazonian restoration fighters are targeting them. So a lot of people are running away. In fact, sometimes they have even burned the houses of some of the parliamentarians from La République who come from the southwest regions, okay, and the northwest region. So they have just been under serious trouble. Then even when you look at the eastern part of Cameroon, it's just a mess. This morning, I saw a video, okay, a video which was talking about festivities in Yaoundé. I started watching the video. It didn't take long. Somebody sent me another video which was showing you sewer. Sewer was flowing all over the streets in Yaoundé around Melen, BMRC area, okay? Feces, you could see feces. I'm going to stop for a minute and let you look at this video with feces in it.
This is sewage, I can call it that way, septic tanks emptying themselves into the road. You can see it growing right in front of the gendarmerie. The gendarmerie Mendang is just a stone throw. Opposite this,
and you can see the guy talking. The guy is talking and explaining where most of the feces were coming from the buildings nearby. People were burning corn, plums, and the feces were everywhere. But the people were just going about their business, eating and going about their business. So how can people live like this? So this makes me really say this is really a shithole country because the place is dirty, there's sewer everywhere, and people are still eating. So I will give you a minute to watch the video again because I really want you to watch the video in full.
if you take a very closer look, you'll even see some excrement coming from the tank itself. Now this happens everywhere, Douala, almost everywhere. Now how can people be healthy and live very well? I'm just getting almost choked up. I'm here just for a few seconds of getting choked up. How can people be comfortable living this way? How will there be epidemics? Will there be cholera, etc., etc.? So if nothing is done to this kind of activity, then we are moving to, I don't know, something very, very extraordinary in the coming years.
So this is the kind of country that the president is calling 2035 emergence. In 2035, Cameroon will become an emergent nation. Come on, who are you fooling? You're not fooling but yourself, because in 50 years, Cameroon will still be in the village. Because look at the development. We have so many pictures we can show you of lack of development in this part of the country. When you look at, there's another video again, where somebody is making fun of Paul Biya. Paul Biya is the second president of Cameroon. Amadou Ahidjo is the first president. In this video, you have guys on a soccer field. They tell Amadou Ahidjo takes the ball, he goes forward, he moves forward with the ball. Then when the ball is given to Paul Biya, he said takes the ball backward. Instead of going forward to score, he takes the ball backward. And the guys are making fun of him. So Paul Biya, go forward, Paul Biya, go forward. He keeps going behind. So look at the video for a moment. All of you like soccer, watch the video.
The French High Commissioner hands over to Amadou Ahidjo. Amadou Ahidjo moving forward. He's moving. Everything in the country is going smoothly. He's moving very rapidly. New schools, new roads, new industrialization. Everything is moving forward. High wages, everything is moving forward. He's moving very fast. He's moving. Development very high. He's moving ahead. Forward. He hands over to Paul Biya. Paul Biya, where are you going to? Paul Biya. Paul Biya, come back, Paul Biya. Where are you going to? Paul Biya, come back.
So when you look at what is happening here, you can really see now that this is really a lost case. Cameroon has a lot of oil. The British were thinking that this part of the world, West Cameroon, is going to become a burden on them. Little did they know that underneath those rocks in Limbe, there was a lot of oil. Similarly, we understand now that in the northwest area, there are a lot of resources that are hidden under the earth. They were thinking that the northwest region has nothing, but we're understanding now that there's a lot of stuff over there. In India, there's a whole lot of gas and other minerals that their people are tapping. So you can see now that Cameroon is a very rich country. All these areas have a lot of resources, but the people are not enjoying the resources, which is why there is fighting going on. Why are these people fighting? They are fighting because they are poor and they don't want to accept this poverty. So this is really the problem of Africa. It's like a tale of two cities. You have the rich city of the haves and the poor city of the have-nots. So these two cities are clashing, and that's really the message that we have for you today. The two cities are clashing and they really need resolution. As we're taping this show, we just got news that the French have used a drone to kill over 40 African freedom fighters in Mali. That's not good news. That's bad. Our people will be forced to retaliate. So they may think that they're doing this and they're hurting our people, but they will be forced to retaliate, and we think that's really bad news. So we've come to the end of our show of today, and we just want to tell you thank you very much. We're encouraging you to continue subscribing, to continue watching the show. One of the things that we want to do for you for Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Your Christmas present from us is a business directory. So if you have a small business, we want to help you so that we can refer customers to you. You can text your business information to my phone. My phone number is 240-350-1131. Or you can call, I will take the message. Or you can send us the same information by WhatsApp. If you send it to us, we'll get it, and we'll try to see how we can help you promote your business. We thank you very much, but we're asking you to pray, then share our video. Please subscribe. We need 100,000 subscribers before December 2020. So subscribe. May God bless you.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.